What's up, everybody? It's Aaron and Ray back again with another episode of the Franchise Tag Fantasy Football Podcast. Don't know why I threw a "the" in there on that one. Kind of just came out.
I'm just changing the name now, huh?
Error on my part. Franchise Tagged Fantasy Football Podcast. That is correct right there. That's how we do it. So, anyways, Ray, as most viewers and listeners know, it is currently Monday. This episode will be out on Tuesday. We've talked about it before due to our work schedules. Please monitor games tonight.
Yeah, take a look at those things. Those are important. This was a wild week, Aaron.
What do you mean? What made it so wild for you?
Cannot believe that the Dolphins ended up winning that game against the Ravens. A lot of teams aren't looking like they are real contenders yet, like the Bengals. Not really believing what they're doing.
The Broncos look awful.
Can someone hit the panic alarm in Denver? That was a game they should have smoked the Texans in, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, the Bengals probably should have smoked the Cowboys too.
And the Raiders are looking as suspect as it gets right now.
Yeah, I mean, that happens. I don't know. I'm happy that the Dolphins came back to win because me and one other person in the pick'ems are the only people that picked the Dolphins, and it put me in a three-way tie for first place. So we got to see how it goes tonight. Hope they'll be winning some cheese. It was a bad DFS week for me too. I about halfway through the morning games, halftime, all those games, I was winning like $75, and I was like, "Yes, this is gonna be a great day." Afternoon games ended, and I only won 16.
Well, I'm still in the money for that five-way parlay or that three-way parlay that I'm in on Sleeper. If you haven't got a chance to do that yet, Sleeper has this parlay system. It's pretty cool. Check it out. You just go and swipe the little tab over, and now you can start making bets. I don't know if it's legal. I feel like it has to be legal, right? For letting you do it. Right. I don't know. How
I feel like it's like daily fantasy. You're playing against other players for their money, not necessarily against the house for the house's money.
Yeah. Well, if you want to jump right into this, we can jump right into it. But I think the name of the show says everything. This is where we talk about who you're going to be panicking about.
This is going to be a fire up the panic alarm. We're going into week 3 of the NFL season. They've had all training camp. They've had all of OTAs. They should be, if they haven't started firing on all cylinders now, you probably want to panic a little bit and start either A, fully panic, dive off the deep end and ship them out, or B, slightly panic and start thinking about where your pivots are going to go, or maybe your package trade deals for better players. So you know how it is. But before we jump into full overdrive panic, you want to hit the studs?
Sure.
Hit some really awesome players who just let it swing this weekend.
The big hitters. So let's start off with, I think, the hottest couple players this week. It pains me. It's disgusting. Tua was a hit, and
You're welcome.
I can't endorse that. I think it's gross, and that's not an every week kind of thing. On the opposite side of the ball, Lamar. My goodness.
Yeah.
I got to face that firsthand. That was in our big money league, and Aaron gave me the business.
They should have paid Lamar, number one.
Well, too big now.
To go back to Tua, you said Tua, he was definitely one of the guys this weekend. And that means that both his wide receiver 1A and 1B were both also guys and pulling in 2 tutters apiece. And I think only like 16 yards separated them through the air. Tyreek Hill, 190 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, and Jalen Waddle, who hits the waddle in the end zone, which is probably my favorite celebration that I've seen. He 174 and 2. So
no,
guys there.
On the
I'm
opposite
tired
side
of seeing
of the ball,
everyone hit the gritty. Okay, everyone does the gritty all the time now.
On the opposite side of the ball, the Ravens had a slew of people that all hit, and I think Duvernay was off to a great start too, but he got hurt. But
Rashad will be in the league concussion protocol.
Yeah, Rashad Bateman is an every week start at this point. He looks so involved in that offense. I'm with it. If he's your flex receiver, I think you do a lot worse than that. Mark Mandrews, still a man. And the Ravens defense is as suspect as it gets.
Yeah, I mean that is fair. So let's just buzz through a couple more names here. Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
top 15 play going forward. I would say probably top 12 play going forward
He's
from
looking
now
like it.
on. Garrett Wilson with Joe Flacco. Garrett Wilson with Zach Wilson, maybe not so much. So there you go.
Well, you still got a couple more weeks, right?
Yeah, that is true. Kyler Murray in the second half, not first half Kyler, but second half Kyler.
Maybe in the fourth quarter. I don't know.
So, but yeah, I mean, who else you got right here?
A few other names come to mind. Nick Chubb with 3 touchdowns. That one. No, I feel like I'm just naming off Eric's team right now. That's what I feel like.
Probably.
Nick Chubb hit Christian Kirk. He is a weekly start. Again, too involved to not have him on your roster right now. Aaron Jones killed it, but I think that's going to be like a every other week kind of thing. I feel like that. But man, did he look good! And it was the Bears, so I don't know. It's a little tough call. You have the Jags defense right now. Is that?
I put the Jags defense on there because they were some studs this week. They kept Jonathan Taylor basically out of the game.
I think Matt Ryan did a little bit of that too.
Yes, he did, but still, I mean, the Jags. You can definitely tell as far as the Jags go that there's a totally different vibe this year for them.
On the flip side, I'm interested in starting if Michael Pittman's going to be out for more than a week, which we got news right now. He should be back next week, but if he's not, I'm interested in firing up whatever defense they're playing until Pittman's healthy and returned.
I would agree.
And even then, it's like, I don't know, Matt Ryan looks bad.
Yeah, so Jags defense, they were definite superstars this week. And then Curtis Samuel, if you were fortunate enough to pick him up after last week, he's going to be very involved in that offense. I know they were playing from behind most of the game, but I imagine they'll be playing behind for most of their games this year.
It kind of leads into the waivers we're going to talk about a little later, but we'll get there. Don't worry, we'll get there.
A little bit. So, Ray, let's now transition into the opposite side of the guys who let it swing.
The guys that didn't let it swing, huh?
We'll just talk about the guys that left their or took their purse with them on the field and didn't leave it in the locker room.
Yeah, it was a tough week for a lot of players. So I want to start off by saying just the Colts in general. Just the Colts, all Colts, but Jonathan Taylor didn't look well. He didn't get a chance to look good. Matt Ryan looks awful, and there's no other weapons on that team that matter at all. No. So if you're a Colts
their
fan,
defense isn't as good as I thought it would be either.
No, it's not. So. I thought these first 2 weeks were going to be a smash start. Was I wrong?
Tied the Texans and get shut out by the Jags, the 2 worst teams last year. So.
Someone in the comments, please hit the panic alarm as hard as you can right now. Russell Wilson, and a lot of that off. I think Courtland Sutton's actually going to be like a smash play every week until Jerry Jeudy gets back. But
I do too, because he was really good with Russell Wilson being really bad.
Hyper targeting him, literally just every play.
What is the deal with from the positive 38-yard line, the plus 38, having Courtland Sutton run a streak and Russell Wilson throw it behind him?
I don't know.
Is that just a PI call? And what's up with the goal line fades? Quit. Yes, he caught one. Oh, but he landed out of bounds. But then you turn around and run the exact same goal line fade. You did it 3 times the week before. You don't think that they don't know that it's coming? Nathaniel Hackett was in Green Bay with Matt LaFleur, with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams to literally watch motions to scheme people open, scheme your best wide receiver open. You watched Minnesota do it last week with Justin Jefferson, where they literally found that they were in man coverage and drug him all the way across the field in motion and hit him on a quick out. Like,
I think it has
can't be that bad of a play caller.
It probably has a lot to do with the fact that they had 3 goal line fumbles last week. Probably a little reactionary. I thought it was 3. I thought Russ fumbled too. Well, two goal line fumbles. Probably reactionary. It'll probably go back to the norm. But
so stop throwing the fade.
Yeah, stop throwing the fade.
The goal line fade is the least converted play in football.
But I guess Russ doesn't believe you. Could be Russ.
Well, if Russ would quit throwing lob balls that don't have any distance on them anymore, we might be all right.
He doesn't look good. He doesn't look good. I think that right now would be a great time to pivot. It's unfortunate because the league is going to find out real fast that I'm pivoting, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to know.
It's okay. I told my wife drafted the Russ Cortland stack.
Tough.
And I told her, wait one more week. You're going to have to wait one more week before you try to pivot, full pivot. So
I'm not saying cut.
Give a half pivot right now. Try to see if you can't find better options out there. But if there's no better options, you're going to have to hold on and wait.
Yeah, and see what happens.
And hopefully they'll right the ship.
Maybe something else shakes free while you're waiting as well. But right now, it doesn't look good.
Yeah. Also, if you have people in your league that are rostering 2 to 3 quarterbacks and holding some of them hostage because you're trying to go get one, like say you are in a rush situation, or you came into the season with Matt Ryan because you thought you could get him late and he was going to be great. Don't pay the ransom prices to get a quarterback. Just stream. You're going to be better in the other positions than they are. So just
they'll eventually have to sell the ship. They will. So those teams that are struggling right now because they're rostering 2 to 3 quarterbacks that are probably not helping them that much, hold, brothers, hold.
Some quarterbacks will start hitting the waiver wires when injuries start to happen throughout the season, and bye weeks are a thing, and you got to fill your roster with other players. So just hold on, hold strong. Stuff will happen, I promise.
So the lower the records, the less the price.
So anyways, since we're talking about just super stinkers, the entire Bengals team.
Outside of T. Higgins this last week and Jamar Chase last week.
Exactly, I would agree. What's going on?
That offensive line isn't as good as what we thought it was going to be.
Super Bowl
the running game is maybe that. The running game just is not as effective as they thought it was going to be. Teams were able to double stack on Jamar Chase, I guess, this week.
It also doesn't help that you double over the top on the number 1 wide receiver, and then your offensive line doesn't want to block probably one of the already best pass rushers in the league, and Micah Parsons, and just let him run free.
That also could be something to talk about here. I think that you need to kind of be a little afraid right now of options you're starting against Dallas, because that pass rush they have through 2 weeks now. It's
pretty legit.
This is just a small sample size, but through 2 weeks has looked really dominant. And
they slowed Tom Brady down.
And he's one of those guys that can get the ball out as fast as anybody else in the league. He's known for doing it. And obviously Burrow isn't necessarily, the slam dunk that we thought he was going to be this season, but he was under duress, and he's able to move around the pocket well. Duress. Now, again, I would like to see it at least one more week to really have that concrete evidence behind, hey, Dallas's pass rush and Micah Parsons, they are the real deal. You want to pivot away from some more, let's say, on the cusp options.
You're for sure. So, to be fair, also wait another week because Bucs offensive line banged up. They say it's not very good through the center. And the Bengals offensive line, as we can see, they've let the most quarterback hits through the first 2 weeks of football among any team in the NFL. So I don't know who the Cowboys have next week. Not yet, because we haven't started the show doc for that.
Yeah.
But if they're playing a team with a good offensive line, you might be okay to start your assets. But it's one of those things, like you just said, they're playing the Giants next week. They do have a couple of the really high graded offensive linemen. So maybe next week would be the real test.
I think that to me, just to preview what we're going to talk about on Thursday's show, that kind of knocks down Saquon's value to me right now.
I would agree.
This upcoming week.
But at the same time, he's probably going to be the only option there too. So
yeah, I mean, you can't sit him, but that's what I'm saying. That's how I'm viewing Dallas's defense right now. And if we see some more of the same, they play in a weak division, some of those streaming options might not be as valuable as what you might be able to get away with on another team. But anyways, sorry to get off on a tangent real fast, but since we're talking about Dallas, Zeke is I'm almost to the point where I think he might be a cut. He might be.
Not where you drafted him.
Look, sometimes you got to lay a grenade and let somebody else fall on it. I don't know.
So he's do not cut Ezekiel Elliott. Do not listen to Ray. Exactly. Don't listen to Ray. That's a knee-jerk reaction. You're going to want to try to trade him first.
I don't think he's a start.
You're not going to get a lot for him probably, but if you got a Dallas homer in your league, go find him, try to trade him Zeke. I did notice in that game, Pollard was getting some run.
He's the pass catcher in that system. He was
a lot of run.
But I still don't trust it. I think that was an outlier week. I don't trust it. But Zeke, I'm full on 100% panic. I'm not starting him. I won't.
Okay. Travis Etienne is who we have up next on this show, Doc. James Robinson just looks so much better than him. Travis Etienne is the pass catching back in that, but James Robinson can catch the ball too. Don't know how he's getting more run than a first round overall draft pick. It might be because it's from the Urban Meyer regime. But Doug Peterson loves him.
Apparently.
No, like from beat reporters and everything, Doug Peterson praises James Robinson all the time.
You know what? I would honestly right now, I don't know if I want to start Travis Etienne again until you see at least an evolution in the passing game to say that he is.
You're not going to see an evolution in the passing game because Christian Kirk is the guy. And if and when Trevor Lawrence is struggling or is in pressure situations on third downs, he throws it to Marvin Jones.
That's what I'm saying. Is that going to happen? I don't know. Are they going to come out with some more schemes that might have Etienne more heavily involved, especially in the passing game? Because he's not efficient on the ground right now. Again, maybe I'm not cutting him, but I don't think I'm starting him for the foreseeable future until we see something.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. You want to read the next name on this list?
It hurts me. It pains me. But A.J. Dillon was a dud this week. And
just because he didn't get in the end zone.
And that's off of 18 carries, too.
Very inefficient.
While watching the game, it didn't look like he was getting the same level of blocking that Aaron Jones was. But then Aaron Jones looked a lot better than he did.
I also have a thought on this that 9 times out of 10, when A.J. Dillon is in the backfield, they're going to play run defense.
Yeah.
When Aaron Jones is in the backfield, obviously it looked like that with the blocking, like you said, but also I feel like the Bears weren't getting as big of a push because they were more worried about the pass when Aaron Jones was in, especially to start the game, than when A.J. Dillon was in. Because A.J. Dillon, north-south runner, they put him in the A-gap, B-gap, dives, little bitty outside runs. But Aaron Jones is getting the counters, the sweeps, the tosses, like everything that's pushing to the outside to beat them to the edge. So I think that's part of it.
There's definitely not. I don't have a panic on A.J. Dillon. I think this is just one of those weeks where the pendulum swung Aaron Jones' way, and I think that it's going to continue to go back and forth between the two. But definitely something to.
They're gonna ride the hot hand. That's how it's gonna be.
And Aaron Jones with the hot hand.
Yep,
100%.
So that's how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley, I don't necessarily consider him a bust. I don't
9 points.
Think so. I mean, yeah, that whole game was stupid, though. Stupid.
It was dumb.
You're telling me that I created a DraftKings fantasy football lineup with Tua, Jalen Waddle, CMC, and Saquon Barkley, and I didn't finish in the money? If I were to tell you that before the weekend started, you'd be like, oh, well, okay, that doesn't make any sense of why you have both of those guys, or why you have Tua in there. Tua's trash.
He is.
But knowing now that, if you knew that Tua had the giant weekend and you didn't know anything about CMC and Saquon, but their week one stats, you'd be like, man, that's a winning lineup. Lost money on that one. Lost $20 on that lineup.
I think Saquon probably returns more to the median than what you're expecting. That's probably an outlier week. He is heavily involved. Just sometimes he isn't like in every week going to win you a week. And I think that's where you probably drafted him. He's probably your running back too on your roster, if anything. So I don't think there's really a whole lot of panic there.
I would agree. Let's hit a quick break real quick, and then we will be right back with the rest of our stinkers, busters, bad guys, underperformers, underachievers, the kids who never got gold stars in school, and then we will hit the waivers.
Hey everyone, this show is brought to you by Driffles Jerky. Are you like us and love beef jerky, but hate paying those high prices for subpar meat? Well, at drifflesjerky.com, they have the money meat.
You said the money meat?
That's right, the money meat. Great tasting beef jerky made from top quality cuts of beef at great prices. Use promo code FranchiseTag to get yourself 10% off on your order today.
That's DRIFFILLS jerky.com. Anyways, we are back now, so we can go ahead and finish up this list. And I would like to start off with both the New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The game was awful. Tom Brady was basically held in check until Mike Evans decided he wanted to try to decapitate Lattimore, and then got removed from the game, the both of them, and then Tom Brady was able to throw the football around. So
that is a 1-game suspension coming up. Mike Evans not going to have
just
next
for Mike Evans, not for anyone on the Saints side. Mike Evans is supposed to be appealing this, so we'll see what happens.
I don't know if they even. Why would they even listen to it? That beef has been there for so long.
He's been there for like 6 years now.
Yeah, and Lattimore has got his number. He's got it on speed dial. On the Saints side of the ball, Michael Thomas still looks like that guy, and I think he's now a weekly start. I was afraid a little bit. I benched him again this week because I'm like, oh, Jameis has fractures in his spine. Apparently, that doesn't matter.
He's still gonna catch a tutter.
They found out like 10 minutes before game time or something like that. Why did they not tell us that?
Gonna catch a tutter.
Little disconcerting, I guess. But yeah, Mike Thomas looked good. Michael Eric Skinner Thomas. Other than that, the Bucs offense as a whole, Julio's not going to be something I'm going to start until we actually see him back and healthy and ready to roll. If he missed this game, is he going to play against the Packers? Who knows?
Probably it'll probably be him and Russell Gage rolled out there as the 1 and 2s.
Mm-hmm.
So the Atlanta Falcons receiving core now plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, apparently. So we're circa 2017.
Moving on to, I think one of the ones I think people are probably panicking on the most, DJ Moore. I think it's full on panic time.
You do know that he scored double-digit fantasy points, right?
He again had 9 points.
You do know that he scored double-digit fantasy points, right? Are we
he had 11 points.
Yeah.
I'm panicking.
He had a tutter because you immediately sent me a text that said DJ Moore off. And then I had to send a text back that said DJ Moore stat correction, caught a tutter.
Without that tutter, his stat line is 6 targets, 3 receptions, 43 yards. Without that touchdown.
He needs at least 11 Baker targets to catch 6 balls. So
he has gotten 6 targets each game.
How many has Robbie got?
I'll vet that. Keep talking.
Okay, so we're gonna vet that. Anyways, I am panicking a little bit on DJ Moore. I'm not necessarily full panic on DJ Moore right now, but I don't think you're gonna get the perennial, at least even with abysmal or bad quarterback play, 1,000-yard receiving DJ Moore.
Robbie had 8 targets the first game, 5 the second game. So he's roughly the same. Roughly.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Baker can do it.
Baker doesn't look that great.
I don't think Baker can do having 1,000-yard receiver and 1 600-yard receiver. I just don't think he can throw. I know he spreads it around, but I don't think he's going to support, 2,500 yards through the air to receivers this year.
I also don't think he's going to do that to CMC. CMC's taken a hit because of Baker as well. The whole offense in general just has not looked.
I don't understand.
Really exciting.
I think it's a Matt Rule problem more than anything else.
It could be. It could be a Baker problem. It could be a Matt Rule problem. It could be a combination of both.
Baker, I might have dogged on Baker a little too much. Baker probably could support 2,000-yard receivers. It's just the fact that he's not getting the opportunity to get certain play calls in, and I don't know what the heck's going on. But they need to figure out how to get CMC involved because that's how the offense moves.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be Baker dropping back and passing 50 times a game.
Yeah, I mean,
not unless you give 25 of those of dump offs to CMC.
I would like to just say with DJ Moore, though, I think that right now, if you have a pivot to put in, I'm probably going to put a pivot in, but definitely a mid-level panic on DJ Moore.
I would agree.
Because
I would agree.
Just haven't seen a whole lot of production yet, and I don't know if it's because of Baker, Matt Rule, whatever. They're both there to stay. They're not putting Sam Darnold in. They're not moving pieces around. So for right now, DJ Moore might be a sit until we see.
Yeah, I would agree because, I mean, at least pre-Baker, DJ Moore was, 83 yards a game on average, decent production.
He was a consistent receiver too.
Yeah, and now it's through 2 games, you're like, oh, this isn't the DJ Moore that we remembered.
And 6 targets is not going to get it done in this offense. It will not do it.
Nope. Yeah, so probably the biggest one of the week here is Jonathan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
He did not do anything that Jonathan Taylor managers needed him to do, especially with the news that Pittman was going to be out a few hours before game time. I'm pretty sure probably all the Jonathan Taylor owners were like, oh, yes, let's fire it up. Let's make it happen. I'm about to get 50 points for my running back this week. Didn't happen. With
Matt Ryan under center right now and how awful he looked. Now, you can say he didn't have anybody to throw to. That's fine. That's a reasonable response to that. But if Michael Pittman misses again, he's still not going to have anybody to throw to. And if that's what the offense looks like against Jacksonville's defense too, is Jacksonville's defense that real? Maybe, but I don't think so.
They're not as real as to holding Jonathan Taylor to 6.8 fantasy points.
I think that really what you're seeing is that there is no other option, and teams know that Matt Ryan isn't going to beat them down the field. They know that he can't win the game for them. So 9 guys in the box. And Jonathan Taylor, now he's good enough to break one, obviously.
But, oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, and you're not going to ever set him. That's not on the table. I'm not panicking, but I think that you need to have your expectations adjusted to what that offense really is right now. And again, maybe Matt Ryan comes out next week, things wake up, he's rolling, Michael Pittman's back, and Jonathan Taylor's back to normal. And this was just a blip on the radar. But I just don't know. Matt Ryan has looked god awful in 2 weeks. God awful. And I hope you're not streaming him.
He's looked really not anything what I thought beginning of the season he would look like.
He looks like he needs to retire.
But yeah, I mean, if Pittman is out and they somehow get lucky and get in the red zone a couple times, Jonathan Taylor has that ability to get you 2 tutters.
And he always has the ability to take it to the house.
Yeah, you're not ever sitting Jonathan Taylor.
No,
just know that some weeks might be like this with the state of that offense.
Mm-hmm. You might need to make. What I'm saying is, you might need to make some moves on your roster, because if you can add some pieces to maybe help surplus your team, because I'm sure that you had to spend up to get Jonathan Taylor, you're most likely weak in other areas. If you can try and get some other pieces on that team to help with these kinds of weeks, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the only pieces you'd really be able to get would be Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp. Wide receivers or running backs are going to score at least 20 points a game.
I mean, I'm just throwing out ideas.
It's going to cost you Jonathan Taylor to get one of them.
No, I'm not saying something like that. I'm saying, like, if you went out and you were able to go, if you believe in, like, say, Garrett Wilson, I bet he's available.
It's probably true.
I bet the guy ain't holding on for dear life. The guy that owns him.
All right, but anyways,
Ruben, I know I'm not.
Do you have Garrett Wilson?
I sure do.
Oh man, let me get him. I don't really need wide receiver help. I need running back help. Got any running backs?
None for you.
None for you. Anyways, who's your last name on this list?
All right, so my last one I wanted to bring up is Rashad Penny. I think it's a panic alarm here. 75% panic alarm.
Kenneth Walker got some play this week, huh?
And like the little bit he did, he looked good. I don't know, like that offense isn't that great. And like I thought Geno was going to be someone. There's no way. Maybe just Denver's that bad. Who knows? Who knows, right?
To be fair, they did play the Niners.
Niners defense is very good though. So, and with Trey Lance being hurt, Jimmy G being in there, they're probably a playoff contender now going forward.
Yeah. So, I would agree that I don't know. I think that it's going to be more of a timeshare there. But yes, anytime that I did see Kenneth Walker with the ball, he did look. It wasn't the Rashad Penny of week 1 that looked explosive.
No, he didn't look like that.
Looked good in space. He looked nothing like that. It was more of the Kenneth Walker getting some runs, looking good, catching the ball here. You know what I mean? Like, okay. So I don't know how to feel about that one. And Elijah Moore also, last one. The Jets came back to win that game. And it was not on the back of Elijah Moore. It was on the back of Joe Flacco and Garrett Wilson. So I mean, if you're not going to be that involved, and they drafted Garrett Wilson this year, I think he's now not going to be the focal point in that offense. And he also has not taken over the Jamison Crowder role like you would have hoped that he would have by now, especially with Crowder but is gone from that offense.
Yeah, and I'm more interested now in starting Garrett Wilson than I ever was. I just drafted him just because he was such a late round receiver. And I'm like, oh, maybe I can keep him. But like now, I'm like, just another piece. You know, you always want to have as many in a keeper league. You always want to have as many pieces as you can. You don't want to get hog-tied into keeping something you don't need to keep. But now Garrett Wilson looked the part, and his separation was nice. So we'll have to see going forward. I might be on the train of starting Garrett Wilson now.
Maybe. Did I tell you I tried to put a feeler out there for one by the name of DeAndre Swift and got left on red? Telling you, I'm looking for running backs. I need some running backs, but no one wants to give your boy some running backs.
I have what you need, but you don't got what I need.
I have what you need.
You don't.
I will go acquire what you need and what you want, and then I will do it for you.
Because right now I have to pay like some sort of weird premium tax to go and trade for somebody. Apparently, I don't know. It's awkward.
It is a little awkward.
Somebody in the league, can you vet that for me, please? Like
it is a little awkward. People would say though, stop offering up trash, and you might get what you need.
I don't know if it's trash. I don't think so.
I don't think it. I don't know. I don't know. If only I could be a fly on the wall for some of these discussions people have. Anyways, let's do it, Ray. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to jump into waiver wire, guys, to add.
Let's talk about that.
All right. So there weren't very many injuries this week. No one really broke out because most of the people did what you expected them to do. Outside of, like you said, you got Garrett Wilson late. If he happens to be on your waiver wire, go snag him really quick, especially about Joe Flacco's the quarterback. You don't know, man. You don't know how many newbie leagues are out there that people are just trying to get a feel for what's going on.
The injuries that are important to talk about are Trey Lance. I bet if you drafted Trey Lance, you were probably starting him, and you're probably in a situation now where you're like, well, who do I go and grab? How about the Russ Wilson guy? How about the Joe Burrow owner? You guys are panicking right now. And you know what? For good reason. So I'm going to bring up a name, and it's gross, it's nasty, but you know what? I don't care. The narrative is there.
Did you bring it up last week?
I did. And I'm going to bring it up again because I bet he's still not rostered, and I think he needs to be rostered.
Gross.
Carson Wentz needs to be rostered. Now, here's why. Here's the reason why. Their defense, very suspect right now. They were getting destroyed by the Lions, and I understand that all the points that he scored this week were in the second half. I get that. But do you care where the points came from as long as they're coming in, right? He's got 2 30-point weeks. He's got a lot of weapons, more than what I think he had in Indianapolis and a lot more than he had in Philadelphia. I think that he is a viable streamer going forward until he plays Dallas.
Okay. I would probably take Tua over that because now that we've seen this done, your affliction for hating Tua, I think skews your judgment just a little bit. Carson Wentz isn't a bad shot. Ooh, say that again.
I think it's the broken plays that skew my shout or skew my perception of Tua.
If you had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Mike McDaniel, who apparently, as you can see, is going to be a coach, a good coach, and you're going to tell me that anytime you want a hot route to one of those guys to do whatever you need to do, if you see a one-on-one matchup you want to go have a 60-yard touchdown bomb, you're not going to be like, okay, awesome. That's just more upside to a player who's already going to get it done.
Look, I don't mind you streaming Tua. I don't mind that. But man, I hate Tua. He's so bad. He's so bad. You watch that game. He didn't look good. It was Tyreek Hill. It was Jalen Waddle that looked good. It wasn't Tua.
Go back and watch the All-22 and watch how he moves in the pocket and how he steps up, moves to the left, moves to the right to create just a little bit more time to get the ball off.
One of the touchdowns he had to Jalen Waddle should have been picked off. Absolutely.
Which one? The last one to win the game?
Yep.
It was a my guy or no guy ball. Same with Mike Gesicki. He's throwing it high and making him go up and get it.
There was 2 balls that he underthrew to Tyreek as well. One for a touchdown, one for a big game. Underthrew by at least 4 yards. Should have been picked off. These are things that should have happened. I think that was more.
And Russ is underthrowing Sutton, but it's not happening, right?
I think Russ is a bench candidate.
Yeah, I would agree. But when you're throwing for 460 yards like Tua is and showing that he can do it, that's what happens. You're going to judge 6 touchdowns and 460 yards off of two underthrown balls to the fastest person in the NFL.
It was more than that.
Stop it. And you're going to tell me that Gesicki jump ball, well, that was a bad pass. No, that was Gesicki's going to get it or not. You're going to tell me the game-winning touchdown pass to Jalen Waddle that was high, my guy or no guy, you're going to pass up on that for Carson Wentz, who when he's good, but when he's bad, it is freaking awful.
I'll take a bet with you right now. You can put it on the board.
All right.
Tua will not get past 16 points next week. And that would give him an absolute start in most lineups, right?
Who do they play next week?
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
You don't think
he's an outlier?
16 points?
16 points. He has to get past 16 points. I'm willing to take that bet.
Yeah, I'm not taking that bet. They play Buffalo next week. You're hard pressed to start any quarterback against Buffalo. So
Tua is not a stream next week. Do not do that. Do not listen to this. Do not do that.
Don't do that.
Look, I'm just saying, temper your expectations on Tua. I just believe that the Ravens.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to stick to my guns. Yes, I will take a beer bet with you that Tua will score 16 points next week.
I'll lower it. 13 points. I'll lower it.
No, I'm taking the original 16. I have faith in it.
All right, cool. We'll do it.
Okay.
We'll do it.
All right.
Deal. Anyways, more streaming candidates, more people to think about putting in your lineup. If you're hurting at receiver right now and you need a spot start next week, I think Russell Gage is the guy to go after this week. I don't think I'm going to spend a whole lot of my fab on him. Maybe 7%, maybe. And I think that's pretty rich for my blood. But if you need a receiver, you're in a bind, you could probably do a lot worse than Russell Gage. He's going to be involved. Tom Brady's going to have to throw the ball. It wouldn't make sense that Russell Gage wouldn't be involved.
Yeah, I would agree, especially with Mike Evans going to be suspended.
And most likely Chris Godwin doesn't play. And I don't know if Julio does. So he's like the only man left, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I would go Greg Dortch if you're needing help in the wide receiver position. He probably won't cost you very much to get because most people are going to be like, oh, that's nothing. But Hollywood Brown's hands are looking pretty suspect.
Hollywood himself does.
Kyler is going to Greg Dortch, so you've seen it the last 2 weeks now. Has pretty much came out of nowhere and has been getting targets and looks in the red zone. Got a touchdown this week. So I would be looking at him for cheap, not necessarily for a long-term play, but just for more so of spot starts to help build your roster a little bit until Hopkins comes back.
or to buy some weeks until you get some health or some productivity back to your roster. Staying on the Cardinals real fast. I know he's not in the show doc, but if Darrell Williams is still on the waiver wire for you, which I'm assuming he probably is, he's worth at least taking a look at if you're really hurting at running back and you need to go and get a spot start. I'm pretty sure that James Conner isn't going to play. That injury looked like it was really painful. But then, like, if James Conner is playing, obviously Darrell Williams in on the roster. But if James Conner is out, by the time we start finding out, hey, starts are coming up, Darrell Williams is a streaming candidate at running back.
Yep, I agree. We're gonna get 2 names real quick, Ray, and wrap this up. Tight end streamers. This will go coupled very well with your quarterback streamer that you want, Logan Thomas. He's getting looks. He's getting targets. They're playing from behind and making Carson Wentz look great in your eyes. So why would you not? If you are streaming a tight end, go look at matchups. Yep, go look at matchups and see that. And then the last name I want to bring up is who I didn't even know who he was until yesterday. Noah Brown.
He looks like he has a connection with Cooper Rush.
Yeah, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. Cooper Rush apparently likes him a lot. Seemed to be targeting him more than CD from what I did see of that game. I think everyone knows at this point Sunday Ticket crashed because it's trash. So it was kind of hard to watch the games. Had to watch Red Zone instead. So it bounced around quite a bit. But I would be looking at him too. Same thing, like I said, with Greg Dortch. Buy games, buy your weeks, buy your wins. Just try to get yourself there. Do you have any other names you want to bring up? No,
I like the Noah Brown shout. I think that out of the names that we listed, Noah Brown's probably on the top of that list. Now that I think about it, he's looked like he's been involved every week. He's made a lot of nice plays. And you're streaming receivers anyway, so one of these 3, you might want to take a look at.
Yeah, kind of a slow waiver wire week this week. Pay attention to the Monday night games, please. It is the Vikings versus the Eagles and the Bills versus the Titans. Pay attention to those games because we don't get to cover them just because of our schedule. But realistically, there's really not much going on this week in terms of people who we expected to performed, and we did have a few outliers, i.e. the people in our waiver wire show. So pay attention to those. Anything else, Ray?
No, sir. That's it.
All right. Well, guys, until next time, we will see you later.